This has really been the big focus of my work for the last few years, is trying to see what is the difference. If 70% are failing to see real business results, but you've got 30% who are succeeding, at this point, that's on a lot of companies from many different industries that I've seen, where they're really making significant change, transformation in the business, in their business models, creating new growth through a real digital approach to their business. And what sets them apart? And what I found in my research is there's really 5 things that they tend to all do, the ones that are succeeding. Each of these, I call these the steps of what I call the digital transformation roadmap. And each of these 5 steps, the successful companies all do. And those that are failing tend to miss one or more of these steps. The first thing is the successful companies all define a shared vision. So they have a clear vision of where the company is going, why they have to change, and how they're going to change in response to digital technologies and digital changes in the market and so forth. The second thing they do is that they have the discipline to really, what I say, pick the problems that matter most, right? Not going shooting in 100 different directions with all sorts of new digital ideas, but picking a few things that truly matter to the business, really matter to the customer, and focusing the efforts. The third thing that they do is that they learn to experiment, or what I call to validate new ventures. So rather than when they have a new idea for a new digital product or service or customer journey or business model, rather than taking the old approach, which was to create a business plan and a very detailed plan of what you're going to do step by step, and then executing it, and then hoping at the end it will work. Instead, you experiment. You know the problem you're trying to solve. You come up with maybe a few different ideas for how you might solve it. And then each one you try to create very quick and inexpensive tests that you can run in the market to gather data and really start to learn what's going to work, what won't, who the right customer is there a market here, what's the size, what's the possible profit margin, how would you deliver the right experience, do you have the capabilities you need, all these unknowns when you start on a new a business model or venture. So you take a process of experimentation rather than planning. The fourth thing that these companies all do is they learn to not just experiment with one team that's off somewhere in a special digital lab, but they actually repeat this process across the organization. This is what I call managing growth at scale, right? How do you actually experiment and pursue new opportunities across every division of the company, right? Across different priorities, and allocate resources, allocate people and finances, start things up, shut them down, and do this all in a smart fashion that's making the most of your resources. And then lastly, the fifth step that the successful companies all do is that they focus on the capabilities they need for the long term. And I call this growing technology, talent, and culture. So they need to figure out what are the gaps in their current technology and data that they need to invest in and build? What are the gaps in the talent and skills of their own people that they need to grow through training and hiring and acquiring and retaining the right people? And what are the gaps between the culture that has brought them to their success in the past as a company versus the kind of digital first culture that they are going to need to continue to grow and succeed in the future? And how do you make those shifts in the culture of your organization? So those are the 5 things that I really find differentiate time and again between the companies that are succeeding in digital transformation versus the companies that are really trying hard but are just not seeing the results they hoped for.